Arsenal have blinked, and the Premier League has a new leader in Manchester City. Will the Gunners come to regret playing such a defensively minded strategy all season when they have got such quality attacking players? Somebody else who will undoubtedly be full of regret right now is Liam Rosenior, with his time in the Chelsea hot seat cut extremely short. We're going to discuss these two issues and 8 games in total, 7 from the Premier League and an FA Cup semi. I'm joined as ever by Lucas Dzinski. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. I'm really buzzing. Finally, it's happened. City have overtaken Arsenal. Everyone could see this wobble coming from a mile away. The game itself was amazing to watch in a pub full of Arsenal fans. So it was quite entertaining. But yeah, looking forward to the slate ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I sat on the pod last week and talked about the fact that Arsenal hadn't played well all of 2026 and
Yeah,
potentially a
for a
little bit
long
longer.
time. Yeah,
And they did against City. I thought they played really well. A little bit
yeah.
lucky to only go in, to go in 1-1 at half time. But second half, they really did have their chances. That Kai Havertz header at the death, what an opportunity that was to get a 2-2 draw, which would have left them firmly in
And then
control.
the 3-2 or whatever it was
Yeah, honestly, they had so many chances. But look, just before we get
sums
into the
up the
game,
season really.
it does. And just before we get into the games, I actually want to come at you with an anti-post bet that I've placed. And I placed this in the wake of the game at the Etihad because I think the odds after that game went way too skewed in favour of Manchester City. If you actually look at the odds after that game, City were in at 1.75 or something around this mark. Sorry, City were, yeah.
Yeah,
Arsenal were at 2.34, right? So this despite up the supercomputer still giving Arsenal a 72% chance of winning the league. You look at the fixtures on paper, and I think if Arsenal win every game, they win the league still. I don't see anywhere that Arsenal really slip up. The biggest doubt is maybe West Ham away, depending on what they've got to play for, but there's not an awful
yeah.
lot. All of Arsenal's fixtures are against bottom half sides. There's not an awful lot in there to trip them up. And if with Odegaard back now, if they play with the same vigour that they did at City, if they can win every game, and that should be enough. City have got a nightmare run of games. They've got Bournemouth away, very very tough place to go. Everton away, very very tough place to go. Both of these sides well in the hunt for Europe. They've got the
They got
bees at
Brentford
home.
at home. Yeah,
That game has caused them problems before,
yeah.
right? So I think City have, and Aston Villa at home. City have got a very, very tough run of fixtures, and I would still have Arsenal favourites in the title race. It's not necessarily what I want to happen, but I still would have them favourites. So I have gone in quite hard on Arsenal at 2.35, and it's definitely worth going in again now because after City winning tonight, very unconvincingly, I thought, against Burnley, the price will be even nicer on Arsenal. I genuinely think it's there for them. I really do. If they keep their head and win every game, City will stumble. Look at last year, right? City only had one tough game to navigate. It was Tottenham away. And you remember Heung-min Son running in on goal with like a minute to go and
Mm.
Guardiola on his knees. And the substitute keeper for City, what's his name? I've forgotten it, pulled off a worldy save. But that moment won them the league. But even in that one game, they got away with it, and there's no doubt whatsoever in my mind they will drop points. The likes of Rodri's still another year older. He was out tonight. Semenyo looked tired tonight, like really tired. I genuinely think Arsenal are still going to win the league. So it's an anti-post bet from me. Back Arsenal now. Back it before they play
Yeah,
Newcastle because
I don't know.
they'll thump Newcastle at the weekend. Back Arsenal
Uh,
now to win the league.
I can't see Arsenal thumping anyone. That's the thing. But we'll see.
We'll see. All right, let's move on and get straight into the games. We've got quite a few to cover. Now, I'm not actually going to give any official tips during these because my bet actually encapsulates a lot of the games, which I'm going to do at the end. So it's actually an
What
all-rounded
City?
bet.
What Arsenal to win the league?
No, no, that's just the anti-post, but just in terms of the game week fixtures that we talk about.
Okay.
So let's go first with Sunderland, Nottingham Forest. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I don't really rate Forest to be honest. I think Sunderland at home are really strong. Look, I know they've been underperforming actually massively, but they're coming against a pretty poor Forest side. I think they were underwhelming against Burnley. Look, they scored 4 goals in the end, but in terms of the chances created, they didn't really create much, and they were 1-0 down for quite a long period of the game against like the worst side of the league. I'd say worse than Wolves. They're going to Sunderland, who have been playing quite well recently at home. So I think Sunderland on the Asian Hab at 0, so draw no bet is a decent bet at 1.96. It was at 2.06 early in the week, so it's come in a bit. So yeah, I think that's a pretty decent bet. I can't see Forest winning this.
I can't either, but I can't see Sunderland winning it either. I think this game.
Yeah, but if
True,
but if there was a team that was going to win it, then it's probably going to be Sunderland.
I don't disagree, but I just think it's got draw written all over it. Forest, at this point, sitting quite pretty in the relegation fight. Getting a point from this game would be regarded as a good point. Sunderland don't lose at home very often, so it's, as you correctly say, it's very tough to see Forest going there and winning. But I think Forest will go there with a mentality after a good win against Burnley. I think Forest will look at it and go, if we get a point here, pretty good result. And I don't know if Forest go and set up their stall there, a little bit similar like they did to Brentford earlier in the season. I don't know if Sunderland will have the tools to break Forest down. So I'm happy to go with a draw here, which is the highest price of all outcomes. It's the case for a few games, and as you'll see with my end of the
you're going like a draw acca.
Oh, you're on to me already. Damn. All right, let's move on and talk about Fulham versus Aston
Oh, is this
Villa.
another draw?
It is. Yeah, absolutely. I think that Fulham, obviously a little bit unpredictable. You don't fully know what you're going to get. But Craven Cottage is still a tough place to go. Villa obviously have other European commitments. So I think they won't go there and win. But at the same time, I don't see Fulham
They
winning
got till
either.
Thursday though, so they're playing on Saturday, so it's quite a bit of time.
They do, but I still think that this has got high potential in terms of being a draw at this stage of the season. Villa would obviously more to play for than Fulham, but Fulham generally give an okay account of themselves at home. I think it'll be highly competitive. I think this could be an entertaining game, 2-2 draw, something like that.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be too much in this. I could probably see it a draw as well.
Cool. Liverpool Palace, I am leaving out of the draw run. Reason being, I just think Liverpool have got a bit between their teeth a little bit at the moment. They're out of Europe now. I can concentrate fully on the Prem. Even Salah started scoring again. What is the world coming to?
Yeah.
Palace do have other European commitments, and I think Liverpool will probably edge this.
Not sure to be honest. I think there's a bit of value on Palace +1 or +1.25. It depends what lineup gets put out really. They rotated a little bit against West Ham the other day. That was a pretty goalless, boring draw. Look, they got Europe on Thursday. The game's played on Sunday. So Sunday? No, sorry. The game's played on Saturday, and they got Europe on Thursday. So
Yeah.
still a bit of time for them. But yeah, I'll hold off until you see lineups really.
But you have sneaky suspicions that Palace can get something here.
Yeah. I think this Liverpool team is pretty poor, and they've been playing quite poor for quite some time, to be honest, I'd say.
Yeah, it seems like they've given Arne Slot a big vote of confidence. So it'll be interesting to see how that one works. Will that work
Yeah.
in favour? Will that work against?
I mean, look, I think it's pretty lucky that there's 4 or 5 places now in a Champions League this season, because they could have been playing without Champions League, right? And I think if that was the case, I don't know, the conversation slot might be a bit different.
Yeah. And particularly with Chelsea completely self-destructing. So, yeah, fortune has favoured them in that regard. Let's talk about Wolves versus Tottenham. Is this must win for Tottenham? Bit of a rhetorical question, but
Yeah, and it's a must-win for Wolves not to finish bottom, because I'm still backing on that Burnley going to finish bottom. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a must-win. I can't see him winning this, I just can't. I have these two teams as pretty much even. However, Wolves have got quite a few injuries now and suspensions, so I'm a bit concerned about that. I would probably wait till the conferences happen, either for Thursday or Friday. Hopefully, we'll get the podcast out before that. But yeah, I think there could be a bit of value on Wolves plus 3/4 at 1.93. Look, they're already down. In a way, they're not going to be playing with any pressure, right? So maybe they might play freely and a bit better. And like Spurs are going to be bricking it, right? They need to win this. If they don't win this, then
They're gone.
yeah, I don't think a draw helps them. Like they have to win. So could be a good opportunity to back Wolves, but I would wait for some team news to understand who's fit and who's not really.
Yeah, Wolves have worried me a little bit. I really didn't like the capitulation against West Ham. That was because for a while, they have been playing beyond their means and they haven't looked necessarily like a team bottom of the league. But the West Ham one was a bad one, and they results haven't gone their way recently, and they're not while showing a few okay performances, they're not getting just desserts. Which
Yeah,
is
Leeds one was pretty bad as well. So
But listen, what I think is, I completely agree with you on Spurs. I think they have to go for it, and I think that the home fans will be well behind Wolves. Molineux will be rocking, and there's something that tells me that Spurs won't quite get over the line again. And I think I'm with you on the Wolves Asian handicap bet, but like again, this is draw for me. Like I can absolutely see a 1-1 here or something like that, with Wolves taking the lead. Tottenham equalising but not having enough to go and get the winner. Something like that. They're playing out in that kind of way. That's what I'm.
yeah, the only thing I'd say is that Wolves are going to be with the potential they're going to have to play the third goalkeeper, who is Bentley. He's ex Brentford boy actually. He played last game against Leeds, conceded 3 goals, but they also could be out with the two best centre backs. So Mosquera's suspended for sure, and Krejci is a doubt. So yeah, like I said, need to kind of wait on the team news. If Krejci's out as well, and they don't have Sarr, it could be tasty for Tottenham.
Points well made. I can even hear your dog voicing agreement in the background. Let's talk
There you go.
West Ham versus Everton. You already know what I think is going to happen.
Draw.
It's another draw. Uh, Again, this game is very, very important to West Ham. Points are so important. I think they let 2 slip against Palace. Palace were there for the taking, particularly in the first half. By the end of it, West Ham had missed their chance and were hanging on. But again, at home, London Stadium, fans will expect. I expect them to try and throw the kitchen sink at Everton, but Everton are so well suited to playing away from home and cope with these situations really, really well. And again, this is another one that I think has draw written all over it. Again, at the biggest price here as well. Another reason to get involved. So I'm predicting a draw between West Ham, Everton.
Yeah, some injuries for Everton as well, right? Beto and Branwright, whatever you want to call his name.
Who you on about?
I'm going to butcher his name again. Gerrard, isn't it? Gerrard.
For who? Which team are you talking about?
Everton.
Which position?
Centre back. Branwright.
Brathwaite. Yeah.
Brathwaite. Yeah.
Brathwaite. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
He's right. Yeah.
He's out. I mean, look, he's only been back for 2 games, but he's such an important player for them, and he's out. He's out for the season. Beto, again, important player for them. I think he's likely to be out. So
Yeah, they got
it's a good game for
Barry,
West Ham to get that win. Get a win, and look, they could be on the way to safety.
Those injuries wouldn't bother me too much. They've got Michael Keane and Tarkowski who can play the back together. They've also
Yeah, true.
got Barry who can play up front. I like the draw angle here again. Arsenal Newcastle. Again, I mentioned at the top. I think Arsenal will thump Newcastle. There's not an easier fixture that you could have right now than Newcastle at home. They are in disarray. They are all over the place. They're in 14th, by the way, and this is without having much of Europe to have contended with for a long time as well. They're really, really poor, and the fact that not more has been made of Eddie Howe's situation is really surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean he's got to be the next one to leave, right? Surely.
Well, I don't think anyone's leaving before the end of the season. Although that's probably what Liam Rosenior thought.
As in, like, yeah, I mean, that next one to leave in terms of like next one not to be managing the team at the start of the season, right?
Yeah, quite possibly. Again, I think his time might be up there. It feels to me like it should be, but
Yeah, I mean, look, I honestly hope Arsenal don't win this, but let's see.
I think Arsenal will take their anger out on Newcastle here. You can see this being
I
if
think
Arsenal.
I feel like yeah, true, but I feel like if it stays 0-0 or they go behind Arsenal, I think that
Fans
could
will
be
get their
it.
back.
I think that I think it's actually at the moment it's in their favour to play away. I think
Yeah, the
weirdly,
fans are so edgy. So edgy. But I just
yeah.
pray that they come out and play some football because I actually enjoyed watching the game against City. When for the rest of the year it's been a really really tough watch. So let's see what happens. But I personally back Arsenal to get the job done there. Um, Last game of the Premier League game week is my boys versus your boys, United Brentford. Um, can your boys continue the European charge here?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a must win for us. Yet again, I said that against Fulham. I feel like the Fulham game was okay. I feel like we created enough opportunities to win the game, but probably weren't at our best. Saying that, United were horrific against Chelsea, right? The content, yeah,
I
it was
mean,
a
any
proper
game.
smash. It was proper smash and grab against a really poor Chelsea side.
Yeah, but we had
Proper.
so many injuries. We had
Yeah, I
so
mean, you
many.
still have the injuries, right? I mean, Maguire's back, obviously, but you're still a bit
Maguire
depleted at the
back is
back.
massive, absolutely massive.
Um, yeah, so I think it could be a game where Brentford might finally get some fortune at United. I feel like the last few times we've gone there, we've been quite unfortunate. So I think it's a big price. Brentford plus a half at was it 2.06. So just need a draw to win the game. So win the bet. So I think that's a good bet.
Funny you should mention the D word again, because that's exactly where my interests lie
Sure.
again. Um, it's not on purpose I've done this. It's just the way when I've looked at every game in
By design.
detail, it's how I see it. And ultimately, you look at United at home last time out versus Leeds. They caused us all sorts of problems. I think Brentford can like to sit in, play on the break in similar ways, and can do just as much damage as Leeds did. That will hurt us. I also think that Brentford are very comfortable sitting deeper, whereas United under Carrick, who's again done a brilliant job, but they look very comfortable when counter-attacking. When breaking a side down, I'm still not 100% convinced of capabilities. Having said that, Maguire being back is a huge boost. We are at Old Trafford, we are at home, so I don't see us losing the game. But I definitely think Brentford can take something from it, and I think the draw again at 27 to 10, around that sort of price, or even higher on exchanges, is definitely a fair one to look into. Let's move on now and talk about Chelsea Leeds in the FA Cup, and let's start with Rosenior. I mean, what's your view on that? Did Chelsea do the right thing in getting rid of him at this point of the season? Was he even ever given a fair chance a fair crack at the whip in the first place? What's your take on this one?
I think from the beginning, I said this from the beginning. The appointment was really bizarre, and I wouldn't have given him a long contract. I would give him like interim manager, similar to like Carrick, right, to see how he gets on and then reassess. I feel like some of the games they have been unfortunate. So, for example, the United game just gone. I really think they should have smashed United and won that. I think they won. I think they hit the woodwork like 3 or 4 times. So look, while they haven't won, well, they've lost in the last 5 games and haven't scored. They have been unfortunate,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help that the management, in terms of the owners, just don't really have a clue of how to run a football club. I'd say. they obviously liked what they saw at Strasbourg, right? And there's obviously they own that club as well. So it seems bizarre.
Yep.
Feel like it's a bit of a panic decision to make. They've come out of, I mean, they're eighth now. That's really poor, but yeah, very very kind of amateury, panicky move, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big mistake Rosenior made was changing his formation in the last game, right? Because they had a bad spell, but the performance against United was
Oh
excellent.
yeah, against I mean, look, take that game out, but look, I mean, yeah, that was just horrendous. But these
But
things
what
happen, right? Good teams
No, but
sometimes have a.
forget Brighton. I mean, even the performance against United was really strong, and ultimately, what he's guilty of there is knee jerking the result against United. They lost 1-0, so we thought we need to change it up. We need to go three at the back. We need to completely change formation. In fact, no, you don't need to do that at all. Go out
Just
there
trust
against
the
Brighton.
process, yeah.
Go out there against Brighton and put a similar performance in with a similar setup, and you probably get a result. So that was the one mistake he made. He bowed to the result too much of the United game instead of, as you've just said there, trusting his own process. But here's the thing: he was never really given a proper chance, right? I mean, they got rid of Maresca, Chelsea, who was such a popular figure in the dressing room, right? And even right now, you've got the likes of Enzo Fernandez and other players that have come out against his departure, right? So no matter who replaced Maresca, they were always going to be up against it. And obviously, Rosenior's CV isn't the best. And for that reason, the players never bought into him, in my view, from minute one, and he never had the opportunity to make them. In terms of the club itself, the problem that Chelsea have is the hierarchy effectively want a yes man, and if they've got a senior manager with an impressive resume, he's never going to want to do that. He's going to want to do things his way, which means there's going to be friction with the owners, or he's not going to take the job in the first place. With Rosenior, who this was a massive step up, of course he could never turn the job down. He said it himself going in; it was his dream job. He's going to do whatever it takes, and he was that yes man. But again, trying to be the yes man to the hierarchy, while also earning respect of the team, is never ever going to happen. And now you've got divisions between the team and the ownership, and you've got a situation where the manager is effectively nothing more than a go-between and has no power and control over anything, particularly as a hierarchy are only hiring yes men. The only person you can have come in there is somebody super strong like a Conte or a Mourinho who wants to do things his way, but the board are never going to appoint that figure. So Chelsea right now are just in an absolute mess of a situation. I don't see what way they can go, and most of the blame has to sit with the current board, chairman, people at the top of the club. And I don't even mean the sporting directors and football directors. I think it's an ownership problem for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the situation they're in. Let's talk about the game. They're going to be bang up against it against Leeds, aren't they?
Uh, are they?
I think so. Yeah.
Also, Leeds are pretty much safe now. They're on 40 points, and they've got Burnley next to play after this game. So look, I feel like they're actually in a really good position where they could win. They could win a cup, right? So why not pivot towards this and give it all? Give it all. Let's play it. The game's being played in London, so maybe you can say that it's slight advantage to Chelsea, less travel. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Both teams quite attacking. Um, but yeah, I feel like Chelsea will edge it. But I really would like to see Leeds win this.
Yeah. I
Just to
mean,
add to banters on Chelsea.
I just cannot have Chelsea at 11-10 here. I can't have it. It's too short. It's way too short. Leeds are playing some sparkling football, scoring for fun.
Yeah, look,
It,
I don't think it's short, to be honest. Well, my model has it like bang on. I don't think there's any value. I think like Chelsea aren't great. They're not. They're not that good.
exactly. That's my point, though. Right? Leeds are scoring for fun. Chelsea
Yeah,
haven't
but
scored yet,
Leeds aren't amazing either. They're okay.
but they're scoring for fun still. They scored two at Old Trafford. They scored two away at Bournemouth tonight. They're scoring a lot of goals. Chelsea haven't scored in 5 Premier League games.
Yeah, they haven't, but they've created a lot of chances. It's not like they're not creating chances. It's not like Burnley and they're getting like under 1 XG every game or something like that. They're gonna be, law of averages, man. They're gonna one game they might start hauling, and this could be the game.
Yeah, but against Brighton, they were absolutely
Look, I
absent.
mean, look, they could have a few injuries, right? Palmer and Pedro was out, so look, I'm not sure when they're going to be back. So that's going to be a massive blow for
Raya
them.
taken off yesterday at halftime as well. That's another potential. Just one other thing to think about here. I don't know if you watched Leeds against United, but they were electric going forward. And the big pitch really, really suited them. They're going to be on another big pitch at Wembley against a Chelsea defence that can't defend. Leeds are going to score goals in this game, I promise you. Right? Back the Leeds double chance, I'm saying to everybody, at just a shade under evens, I think is good value. Right. So, in terms of the summaries, do you want to do yours first, and then I'll explain what I've got lined up?
Yeah, Sunderland 0 at 1.96 on an Asian handicap. I said Palace plus one and a quarter, depending on what the lineups are saying, and then potentially Wolves plus 3/4 as well. Again, depending if they have a keeper and if the first choice centre back's starting as well. I think that's. Oh yeah, and Brentford plus a half. So yeah, so that's what 4.
Cool. I've obviously got the anti-post bet on Arsenal to win the league at 2.34. Again, I think the price would be even higher now if you want to get stuck into that on the exchanges. Um, I'm also now saying Leeds double chance in the FA Cup semi-final, which should be available about 1.85. In terms of the Premier League game, so of the 7 that we've talked about, I've earmarked 5 of them. That's Sunderland versus Nottingham Forest, Fulham versus Aston Villa, West Ham versus Everton, Wolves versus Tottenham, and Manchester United versus Brentford. Now, the way that I'm playing these is I'm combining them as trebles, fourfolds, and one fivefold in terms of draws. So it works out as 10 trebles, so 10 times your stake, 5 fourfolds, so 5 times your stake, and 1 ACCA on all 5, which is obviously 1 times your stake. So in total here, you're doing 16 bets. So for sake of argument, I'm playing, and you should do these on 365, by the way. Prices are much better there than anywhere else on the draws, believe it or not. So if you do £1 a point, right, your total investment, for sake of argument, would be £16. Now, if you get 3 of them, 3 of the 5, any 3, that will return £35 on average. So just over twice your money. That's if any 3 of those come in as draws. Now, if any 4 of them come in as draws, that's where we're having some fun, right? Now, off your £16 stake, you will return an average of £290, right? Now, this one will never ever happen, which is why I'm saying do them as trebles and fourfolds. But should we get very lucky and all 5 land as draws, you would return for your £16 £1,880. So for me, like it's not a huge one. It's not one to go crazy on. It's not one to put a ton of money on. But for very modest stakes that I've just laid out, I might have gone a little bit heavier myself. I cannot confirm or deny. But for a very modest set of stakes, again, we only need 3 of them. You can have a little bit of fun with that, and there is a small potential to win really, really big. So that is what I'm advocating on that side. The fivefold actually works out at 573 to 1. So I mean, they may as well just pay me out now, right?
Just lump it on all on that instead.
All right, that's it from us. Look, what a final few weeks of the Premier League we've got in store. Man City versus Arsenal in the league for champions. We've got West Ham versus Tottenham in the battle to avoid relegation. And we've got about 6 clubs still in the hunt for Champions League. And that includes the mighty Brentford. So let's see how it
And
goes.
Europa League and
And Europa
Conference
League.
League.
Yeah, which
Probably
is
more than
probably
6 now.
where Brentford will actually end up. That's it from us. Enjoy your football and take care of yourselves.
Cheers.